Hi everyone. So this week is Parashat Tazria Metzora. Not simple Parsha. In fact, a number of years ago, many years ago, this was my bar mitzvah. Well, actually, one of the two was by my bar mitzvah portion. I was Tazria, somewhere in the mid to late 1980s, let's say. I'll leave you to guess which year was my bar mitzvah. But this was the Parsha, and to speak about it was not easy because it's about Sara'at, which is this disease which afflicts an individual given to them by God because of how they've acted. Often because of the word Metzora, being the person who has tzara'at. They are called a Metzora, which sounded to the rabbis like the words Motzi Shem Ra. Metzora. Motzi Shem Ra is speaking bad about someone, giving someone a bad name. Therefore grew the connection between speaking bad about other people and receiving this affliction, which was tzara'at. We don't have it really anymore. But what's important to understand is that it goes beyond just speaking bad about people. In fact, Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch in the 19th century says that if you look in the Talmud, there's a whole series of acts that the person who did them would receive from God this tzara'at disease. And the common denominator is that they were antisocial. They were against society, corruption, stealing, charging interest when one shouldn't. A lot of these things were anti-societal. And so the reaction to the person who sees these symptoms on his body of tzara'at is to go to the priest, not the doctor, the priest, be diagnosed, and then leave the camp, leave the town for a short while. So this isn't leprosy, this isn't a long disease. It's not just about medicine, it's about the person who isn't well reflecting on what they had done against society. And then the natural step, of course, was for them to then reflect outside of society. They would leave, they'd be isolated, they'd be on their own. And the idea was in a week, or for some people 2 weeks, that would lead them to consider how better they can play a part in society. So in other words, this tzara'at was almost a divine rehabilitation device to not punish the person for a long period of time, but to allow them the space to reflect and then to come back into society. Now, of course, number one, we realize how important society is, how important it is to God that the individual plays their part with, right, in a positive and a constructive and a helpful manner within society around. But also, we see how sometimes important it is to have the time away to reflect. And I think given our last year, many of us have spent time away from friends or family. Not that we wanted to, not for any godly reason necessarily, but the result has given us space to reflect maybe on ourselves, on our values, reflect on life. And I think that hopefully for many of us will strengthen us going back into moving on from the pandemic. For many it will be harder, of course, and there's a lot of work to do to help people moving on. But for many of us also there will be this chance, I hope, to reflect on the values that mean so much to us. And that's all connected to the Parsha of Tazria, my bar mitzvah portion, which of course is so hard to find in the Torah, but I think there's actually a lot in it as well. Have a great Shabbat, everyone. Love to all, and see you all soon. Bye.